How you doing? Welcome to Autism Brings It. I made a video last week called "Dare to Be Yourself." It was by Autism Brings It, and nobody saw it, so I figured I'd go ahead and make another one. Um, I seen a post today on social media talking. Woman was batting around the idea of A.B.A therapy and trying to get advice from the group on whether or not she should listen to the people that are guiding her on A.B.A therapy because they're suggesting 40 and 50 hours a week, and then she's concerned about what am I supposed to do about their normal school schedule and honestly every other part of my life if I need to be home for 40 to 50 hours a week. I figured it's a good topic to cover. Right out of the gate, I understand the stress. It's like you're trying to figure out, how to best take care of your child that you're really left to feel helpless at times when it comes to taking care of them. And then you get an answer in front of you, but then it's going to like force every other part of your life to really not function as well, or at least be perceived that way. And outside of whatever this woman decides, I mean, obviously social media, just like anything else with social media, there's one post saying, oh, I hated A.B.A. It was, like sending my kid through dog training. And then another person says, oh, no, I had the same exact thing you're talking about. And it did a world of wonder for my child. And they, never been better, all that kind of thing. And that's where really it attaches to my first video, Dare to Be Yourself, because it's kind of bringing, that's, if you can hear that, that's Monkey back there making noise. But it kind of attaches back to that video, and because I was talking about how it's sometimes hard to relate to the autism awareness, that's being raised and the way it's being raised, and how there's so much positivity in the way that it's shed light on it as a positive thing, and in my experience, it's far from it. So much like that situation, this is kind of the same. It's like, well, do you think 40 to 50 hours a week? I mean, I get coming out to ask a group and get advice, and that's smart, in any situation. However, I guess I just wouldn't want anyone to underestimate the reality of their life versus the people that are telling you what your life should be. And doctors are really good for that, especially when you have a kid with special needs. Or they're very, very good at letting you know all the things you could be doing. Now, on a personal note, I hate doctors. I think they're the scum of the earth. I've had a couple good ones, but by, they really seem to be out there to make another boat payment. 4 or 5 visits, and you wait hours to spend 5 minutes of your time with them. It's kind of a joke. And I know that that's forced by insurance and 10 other things. But nonetheless, it gets away from the point. The point in this situation is, who cares if somebody else thinks that you should make the time to do it? In my opinion, if you have a kid that you're having a hard time with and you don't know what to do to make that situation better, in my opinion, it'd be kind of silly not to at least try. It's like you don't have to sign up for the 40 to 50 hours. If you still got a house to run, you still got a job to keep, and you still got things you need to do, then say, no, I can handle 20 to 30 hours. Like what I think a lot of people lose track of is you're in charge. Now, in my situation, my son was born preemie, so I got thrown into dealing with these heathen doctors like as soon as my son was born. So I didn't have to slowly learn. Well, I did have to slowly learn, but I got to slowly learn how to deal with them and protect the situation, if you will, as my child was growing up, long before I knew he was autistic, or at least before he was diagnosed. And one thing that I learned from that is you're in charge. You're the customer. So the doctor or the specialist or the therapy groups, now there's things to watch out with that. Sometimes they want you to have a lot of things because, well, they don't get a paycheck if they don't have people to help. Other times, they don't care about the paycheck. They just really want to help. And that's where you can't be so quick to take, if 20 people responded it didn't work for them, and that woman asked that question in social media, and only 10 people responded that it did, that doesn't change anything about what you should do. So it's like, basically, realize that your time's your time and that you do have to push back on the doctors, but also realize that you're the one that has to live with the schedule changes and life changes and all the things that come with it. And yeah, outside looking in, it's like, well, it's your child. There's just nothing more important. Well, there isn't, but if you can't feed them because you can't go to work or because you can't get 5 minutes of peace of mind, well, then yeah, 40 to 50 hours may be a bit much. And why should you care what someone thinks? The one thing I've learned about having an autistic child is everybody's got advice, but only a handful are there to help. So I don't really care what anybody says I need to do. I take it in, I consider it. You can't be so arrogant as to think that you know best, because when you have an autistic child, in my opinion, you don't know best. You're learning. You can have the best intentions and you can want the best. That's a lot different than knowing what's best. So if someone's on the fence about A.B.A training and they're not sure if they can handle all the hours, you're the customer. Tell them you want to start out with 20 hours. See how it goes. Give it some time for your kid to adjust to it and get used to the idea and see if it helps. But to shut something down like that and ask a group of strangers on Facebook, of all places, like, why would you be asking that advice? I mean, I guess I'm maybe underselling that human need to want to be a community, and then everyone gives their input and now you're enlightened, when in all reality, assess yourself. You're in charge. You can't ask the group every time what you need to do next. You need to be looking at these situations as, well, it's new, it's different, it might produce a different result. However, again, you are the customer. You tell them how many hours you can handle. If they're offering 40 to 50 now, they'll offer 40 to 50 later. You don't have to worry about that. The last thing you need to do, though, is stress out about feeling guilty if you really can't do the 40 to 50 hours. I'm a single dad. I have my son 6 days a week. There's 1 day a week that he goes with his mom, and that is it. I'm doing everything I can to try and make sure that everything's getting taken care of and I can still make money for my family, which that's a whole nother topic, because nobody nobody has room for someone that needs to keep track of their low functioning autistic child. I'm trying to learn to work from home. That's him now. You don't need to eat every 15 minutes. It just isn't possible. Come here. Come here. Say hi to people. Go say hi to people. Come here. Come here. Go say hi to people. Watch your foot. Watch your foot. Watch your foot. Look. Look. That's you. That's you and me. That's a Mr. Monkey, and if you look at that right there, see? Then you're looking at the camera. Not interested? I didn't think so. All right. Love you, buddy. Yeah, just leave that shoe. Just leave that shoe wherever you can. All right. But either way, you have to either shape your life to adjust to those things, or accept that you can't shape your life to adjust to those things, and then adjust the therapies to what you need. The big moral of the story here is you're the customer, you're the parent, it's your home, and to some degree, maybe you don't know what could come out of this, but you do know what you're dealing with now and what you can handle. I would caution on the side of like making everything about, well, I just can't handle that, because people are just a little too easy on themselves nowadays. So, I keep my son in mind, and then I look at it like this. Could it help? Is there a reason to think that I shouldn't even try it? Which that has happened. There's, all kinds of therapies when you have an autistic kid that come out, and people tell you all about all the different things you can try and what you can cook for dinner and what you can't. And it's like, and then you try them and that doesn't do anything. Then you try another one and that doesn't do anything. And then what do you find yourself? You find yourself exhausted at the idea that anything else will help. This is how it is. That's how it's going to go. That's how it's going to be. And all I'm trying to point out is that you shouldn't do that, A, and B, you really should be looking at these situations as, well, I'm open-minded, I can take on a certain amount, but the worst thing a parent can do to an autistic kid, where you're meeting with all these specialists and doctors, etc., is sit there and assume that they know best, or that you have to listen. Like I said, not all of them are out to get you, but by the by, yes, doctors are vile creatures. They're awful people, and I kind of feel like the only reason they exist is because the balance is that they can physically help you. But not all of them are there to physically help you. Just like any profession, certain people are just money-hungry whores, and that's what they want. They want money, they want visits, they want therapies. I do think in the A.B.A situation, the people that you're meeting, the people that you're dealing with that are working these jobs, I personally, in my area, I feel like they do care. They're not making a kill, and they're not showing up in a big luxurious, car. They're showing up in a compact sedan and you know, looking nice in clothes that they could throw together. And that ain't insulting them. That's just to illustrate that it's like, no, these people seem to really care. They're interested in how your kid's doing. They're interested in helping them do better. They really do care. But when it comes to the world of doctors and the recommendations, and even from the people that do care, you have to realize that you don't have to listen. There's nothing to stress over. You take in what they say, you evaluate it against your life, and then you decide whether or not it's something you can do. It's that simple. But don't add stress to your life and guilt. You got enough guilt. You got enough stress. There's enough real things that are happening in your day, especially if your son's like mine. I got to change diapers. I got to mix medicine. I got to keep him out of traffic. I got to make sure that he's not running out the front door every other minute, and then he doesn't quit wanting to eat. There's no end to this. It's not going to get easier, but I keep dealing with it. Well, I've ranted on enough, but again, this is Autism Brings It. I got a website at autismbringsit.com. You can find a lot of articles about, you know, things like this. I got plenty of pages and posts that talk about dealing with stress and anxiety and how to cope just in general with life with having an autistic child. So if you're interested, stop on by. Again, it's autismbringsit.com. And if you hit the page, go ahead and, you know, like and subscribe on this video, and then, you know, go ahead and follow that page. But as you can clearly hear, I have better things to be doing. So I appreciate it. Everybody have a good day.